photographed before the masterpiece. Another surprising side to some of you, not all, to John's character is that reckless, easy come, easy go attitude. After that near tragic episode when he was piloting the leased airplane, I think some of you may remember, where John forgot to lower the landing gear. He laughed it off, howling to the ground crew as they rushed up to him. "It's just a rental!" Put it on the TIA expenses. Of all of John's professional attributes, perhaps his greatest passion has been workforce development, providing a helping hand to build tomorrow's construction trades. He takes somewhat less active interest, however, in government affairs. As Dennis, John, Ross, Artie, Kim, all those folks who have worked under John in the government affairs department have come to him. He really lets them do their thing. He's not a micromanager. I think Dennis learned this the hard way once again last week when he just introspectively asked John, could you list your 5 favorite government affairs? And John mulled that over for a moment. Thought, government affairs. Well, I guess I'd have to start with Arnold and the maid. I'd say John Edwards, Anthony Weiner, and perhaps Teddy Kennedy. Government affairs. Enough teasing him. John Orr is a legend in industry for the right reasons. His long career has been the standard by which association executives measure success. Having just 6 months of a similar experience at this point, it's almost inconceivable to me that he's steered our ship so well for 25 years. And he's been much more than just a steady hand on the wheel. We all know that. This man's been our moral compass for a quarter of a century. Through good times and bad, he's calm, fair, professional leader. Nobody composes or delivers an invocation any better. That's why I'm surprised he didn't give his own surprise party invocation. John Nicholson did very well then. And I know I'm speaking for myself here, but I think others in the audience, when John was up at the podium delivering an invocation with his carefully chosen heartfelt words, asking God to guide and support our ravaged and noble industry, we usually feel like the odds are a little bit better with him up there. And lastly, because I know the cattle prod warm me up back here, John's sense of humor served him very well. It's allowed us to have some fun with you tonight here. And maybe the nature of home building, but we've had a lot of good laughs together. And plenty to laugh about and cry. Everyone in this room and thousands of others, John, have been grateful beneficiaries of your dedicated career and your inspired body of work. Please know this, John, whether you're up at the BI offices or at your lovely Windcrest home, we'll continue to call on you for advice and remarkable John or perspective. And I hope that after tonight, you don't hang up on us.
Thank you, Mike. You know that you talked about John landing with his wheels up. You remind me, I got a call from John a couple days before that because we were going to the same meeting at Harris Ranch. He said, "You want to fly down there with me?" So I thought to myself, okay, let's see, a 70-year-old pilot, took out flying at 65, single engine plane, hasn't ever flown anything with retractable gear. Probably not. Thanks for the offer and all the driving, all the very skies. So, all of John's given everybody great advice, and his advice has gotten a little more sage as he's gotten a little older. So the last advice he gave me, I think, is really important. Never, under any circumstances, take a sleeping pill and a laxative on the same night. Appreciate that, John. And now, for a special presentation, BI Past Chairman Jeff Jeff Pimstein.
Where were you all my life, man? I needed that. Thank you, Bob. And thank you, past chairs, for your sage words about Mr. John Moore. So let me say a few words about John Moore. A name that strikes fear in the hearts of mere mortals. And I do mean that I will say a few words because, much like the previous speakers have alluded to, Bob Ravinius has told me that he'll staple my lips to my forehead if I don't get off in less than 5 minutes. So John, before I say a few things about you, I listened very carefully this evening to the prior speakers, and it became very clear to me, I owe you an apology. See, ecumenical to ecumenical, delinquent Catholic to good Catholic. God, we used some language this last year. I'm so sorry. But it was the time, it was the year, and it was, you know, things that went on. And then one other thing I want to mention is that, so when I first came into this room of wonderful, adoring fans and members of the industry, so I saw that picture. I knew who that was. But I wondered what John Forsythe is doing. You think Jeremy Irons? Marcus Welby, okay, so here's an over-under on this. We'll be doing this. So I knew of John Moore for a number of years being in the Allied industry, but didn't have my first meeting with John until 2004 at a local Starbucks. This is a follow-up to that most awesome of telephone calls in which John called and said, Jeff, this is John Moore, the Executive Director of the Building Industry Association of Superior, California. I'm contacting you today because you've been selected to consider being a board member of the BIA. So this was John Moore calling me. I was honored, I was awestruck. How could I say no? So sitting with John, he has this way of sizing you up. Kind of like a cat playing with a field mouse before it pounces. And it was compelling. And he made me an offer I could not refuse, which of course was consistent with his New Jersey roots. Now, as good fortune would have it, I was lucky enough to go through the chairs during the great counter-cyclical economy. And as our industry traversed into an epic nosedive, my relationship and admiration for John grew. Especially after spending a lot of time with John as the chair, I grew to value his counsel, his wisdom, and his friendship. We won't talk about our trip to New Orleans because there's things that happen. John said to me towards the end of the latter part of 2010, this has been an incredible year. And truly, we've seen a little bit of everything. Intrigues, successes, tragedies, issues, and circumstances. But somehow John's humble demeanor, his cool head, and his consummate professionalism, well, you just know somehow, through it all, things were just going to be okay. So John, after 25 years in this industry, you've outlasted a great number of owners of home building companies, more than a few division presidents, and not to mention numerous EOs around the country. You've thrived in an industry that has had the occasional casualty and maintained an exceptional sense of humor throughout. Wherever I've traveled and whomever I've spoken to, your name and reputation are unparalleled, and you've set an exceptional benchmark for leadership. John, I'm honored to have shared a short time with you in service to the building industry, and now to have the opportunity to invite you to the podium. So John, come on down and address your adoring fans. John was going right for the microphone, but you know, there was still something else to be had. So John, on behalf of the North State BIA and a very grateful building industry, we are pleased to present you. Are we ready? With this warrant.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, we put double A batteries. So John, I understand there's very sensitive. I would. I understand it's very good.
It doesn't come with the part, though.
So, and they're yours.
This has been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it. I hope you have too. I haven't heard that many lies in 2 hours.